A warm welcome to all you guys on my channel. So today I start work on an extremely interesting object. And that happens to be this scarf panel laid out on my table right now. It is truly a special piece steeped both in history and mystery. I found this along with fragments of other pieces together in the Behrambab Oshivara furniture market. A treasure trove for all those who love objects with a past. It's made of old teak wood and its intricate details instantly caught my eyes. Tiny windows, lattice-like elements, carved bits. It looked like a piece which had a purpose, but now forgotten. No one in the market could tell me how exactly this piece was used, but its aura was unmistakable. And now I am reimagining this piece as an artwork centered around the stories of Krishna. It will be a layered narrative, kind of art within art. As such, the process will be complex, intimate, and deeply personal. And as usual, I am going to let the object guide me. Paper mache powder to fill up the gaps in the wood here. Right here. Mix it up with diluted Fevicol. For the larger chips and cracks, I have Swaminathji to the rescue. Wooden pieces. I'm going to start by lightly sanding this piece. As I sand the piece, a wonderful aroma coming out of the wood grain tells me that this is not teak wood as I suspected, but a panel made out of camphor wood. Camphor wood isn't native to India. It arrived through old trade routes from Southeast Asia and China. Craftsmen valued it for its fragrance and resistance to insects, turning it into chests, cabinets, and panels for temples and homes. These pieces carry both global trade history and local art history. So sanding it on the grain and against the grain allows for the wood grain to open up, and because I paint directly onto wood, the wood accepts the paint beautifully. This panel was one of the larger projects I have undertaken this year, not just in terms of size, but also in the scale of conceptualization and the stages involved. The painting process was detailed and long, with many stages. There was no way to capture the entire making in just one video, so I'll be splitting the whole story into two parts. In this part, right here, I begin with the pattern work on the base, starting with rough pencil guides and making some key design decisions. This panel is actually a wonderful example of how I approach those choices, and I'm excited to share this process with you. This piece is inspired by Mughal miniature painting. It's based on the stories of Radha and Krishna. It explores the concept of ras. As such, I'm beginning at the edges, illuminating the borders, very much like medieval miniature paintings and manuscripts. The only difference is that here I'm working on a much larger scale than the traditional works.
Once the first coat of paint is applied, I am sanding the paint down and going over with a second and even a third coat so that I get the right definition and precise colors that I want. The work on this panel began in early April and now it is already August. It feels a little overwhelming to me that at this point, only the peripheral design work is complete. The panel is due for delivery soon and I haven't even started on the main artwork yet. And around this point, I begin researching the paintings that will go in the center, in the top and bottom jharoka sections, as well as the smaller side slots. I have already looked through multiple sources, from books at home to online references, and today I am heading out to the Chhatrapati Shivaji Vastu Sangrahalaya here in Mumbai to study their collection of miniature art for inspiration. This exhibit at the museum encapsulates the traditional techniques used to create miniature paintings even today, showing the stage-by-stage evolution of how a masterpiece comes together. Only I am working on a much larger scale. I simply don't have the time to replicate the method across the entire surface. So back at home, I decided to first sketch out the artwork on my tablet. I'm still learning to use this thing, but it's faster and easier to correct mistakes on. Let me test the changes I want in my composition. My primary inspiration is this particular miniature painting, but for my panel, I need to edit it down, change the colors and adjust the composition. In this time lapse, you see me working, though what you don't see is that it actually took me a full week to complete the artwork digitally. Once done, I sent it for printing. The printed image gave me what I wanted as a base, but it was still not refined or complete. I need to spend almost as much time painting over it, physically to fix the mistakes, soften the edges, and bring it to life. So at this stage, the digitally composed final artwork is ready. What I'm not able to share here is the detailed process of creating the pieces for the other jharoka slots in the panel. We'll end this video here at the point where I received the printed works. And honestly, there is nothing quite like seeing all the digital effort come alive on physical paper. In the next video, we'll move on to the process of finally finishing the panel. There is still a lot more left to do, so don't forget to check out the next part.